Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. It's nice to see you again, Father.
Ah, I remember you now. The so-called art dealer.
I'm glad you got your memory back, because you're going to need it. Where are the stones?
I don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell somebody like you.
Why? What's wrong with me?
I tried to save life. But you only seem to want to destroy it.
Oh, Father, you're so wrong. Let me explain.
Are we broadcasting at all, or is it just...
which you shall know we serve comes from destruction, disorder.
I think you ruined it.
Now take this empty glass. Here it is, peaceful, serene, boring. But if it is destroyed,
Oh, well. Be quiet.
look at all these little things. So busy now. Notice how each one is useful.
Why does nobody tell me these things?
What a lovely ballet ensues, so full of form and color. Now, think about all those people that create them. Technicians, engineers, hundreds of people who will be able to feed their children tonight so those children can grow up big and strong and have little teeny-weeny children of their own and so on and so forth, thus adding to the great chain of life.
Water, fruit,
You see, Father, by creating a little destruction,
a cherry.
I'm in fact encouraging life. In reality, you and I are in the same business. Cheers.
Okay, and we are live. Oh, something like that. Okay.
Hello.
Greetings. This is Shroud of the Avatar, a free-to-play game, and this is our release 107 live stream. We patched a day late. Usually we do that on Thursday, have the stream on Friday, but we patched today, Friday, and having the stream on the same day because scheduling difficulties. And that's all I could say.
Well, just for history, as someone who paid attention to stuff since the start, the reason we released on Thursday is because we always wanted to release on Thursday, and we assumed we would have one emergency patch that we would do on Friday, and we didn't want people working the weekend. But now we just kind of work whenever, so Friday works too.
And most of us work somewhere between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m.
And then there's overlap in the morning for some of us.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome. We have a pretty calm release as compared to the last one, so this is good. And I guess first off, right up front, we turned 2 XP back on, and we're going to extend that through the weekend until the end of Halloween. So basically the end of Monday Central Time at midnight. The end of the day there. We'll go ahead and turn that off at that point. So we got
people were commenting that I looked awake. I'm barely awake. I'm only going to be on for about the first 15 minutes. I've got other family stuff I'm going to be going to do here, but I wanted to jump in. This was a surprise. We were doing a stream.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll let you go ahead and do the talking if you'd like, since you only got 15 minutes. So.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember what topics we're going to cover. So I guess one big thing I can talk about is gold and the gold return stuff. So we have, just for some background, we have some reports that run on players so we can see basically a daily total of player stuff. What we found is based on player feedback and actually a few confirmations is the report we had does not match up with what you guys were seeing. We don't know where the discrepancy is. But also there were some, for whatever reason, there were some people being excluded from that. But of course...
Can I chime in for a second?
Sure.
So some of this relates to, like, we had a big database disaster last month, and there was basically around a month of time that players lost gameplay. For those who didn't know it, maybe this is your first time coming here. and we recovered some things, and now we're also trying to recover the gold that they might have lost, or a portion of it. So that's what Chris is talking about.
Oh yeah, I just assume everybody knows about the event. But anyways, so looking at that, at first we were thinking there's no way we could possibly recover that, because I would go back and get like how much gold you had then to now. But I'm gonna go take a look at that report and generate. And for those who are wondering why this isn't just a super simple, well, why don't you just grab the gold from then and grab the gold from now, subtract, and you're done? Well, because there's a lot of these cases where people are. Those would be the easy ones. The bigger problem is there's a lot of these people who are like, well, I had 40,000 ore that I sold right then, and then now I'm that my money doesn't match up. So we've got to have a report that goes through every single item that you have, that every single player in the game has, and generates an actual like a gold value for it, so we can try and restore based on that. Some people be getting way too little, and some will be getting way too much. There was talk and this is still the fallback, that we would just come up with an amount, and we have some ways that we can look at returning some gold to you, giving you like a gold per hour played during that time. That'll be the fallback if this doesn't work. But I think we actually have a plan now where we can actually try and get your numbers. We're going to go back and use our QA server to restore the data. First, fix up the report generation system, and then second, go back and restore the data to QA, generate reports on the QA server, and then restore the database to just before the event, and generate the reports again, and then generate off of that. So anyways, that's my fun over the next week. I was going to try to take a week to decompress between the stuff, but I'll be trying to do that, and also next week trying to get our new build servers actually racked. And for those who are wondering why I didn't do that last week, that's because I was in the mountains of the Appalachians. That last week I was actually out hiking and taking the trip. No one was injured, but it did not go as planned. Turns out older uncle who had pneumonia, the pneumonia really wiped him out much worse than we thought. So we had to shorten our hiking trip. But everybody survived. Nobody had to go to the hospital. It was all good. We just didn't do what we wanted to. But anyway, so I was out for the last week on a hiking trip, and I just got back. So if you see me and people saying that I'm awake, I'm barely awake. So we'll see. But I'm going to try to, that's going to be my goal for next week, is try to get the gold stuff done and get our build machines, do some of that infrastructure work that I talked about doing, including getting the build machine up there, getting some more backup stuff up there. We also have one of our internal servers is a nightmare to upgrade, but I've got to try to figure out how to upgrade our Perforce server to get more space on it. So anyways, that is going to be my next week of excitement, but we will be trying to get an accurate number back to you for your gold. And if not, then we will go with the fallback, where we look at how many hours you played during that time, and just give some value per day. So
sounds good.
That's my report on gold. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Yep, and that's the I think that's the last major aspect that we have for the recovery efforts. The login rewards for this coming month will have a little bonus, some bonus items in it as well, like last month. And then I suspect there's going to be one more that's going to be coming down the road, but one or actually maybe two more items, I believe, that Chris is working on. So,
Yes.
yep, and we'll get those guys, we'll get those out to you as soon as we possibly can. One thing I wanted to mention: once we do get the gold thing sorted out and we make the delivery for real, then what we will do is we'll look to have another hometown live sale event to allow the people who were using their gold to buy kodos from other players to get the benefits that the players had this last go around. That event actually went very well. Good reception. Everybody was great about it, and it's not an immediate thing. We have to go search through the logs and verify everything, but I think it came out very well. And we basically ran the sale. Started at 3 a.m. Central Time, and did it in about 2-hour windows. From there, 3 to 5, and then picked it up again around noon our time, and pretty much stayed out there for about 9 hours or so. Didn't have a steady stream of people, but had enough to that definitely justified us hanging out there and getting everything done. And then there was an impromptu fishing contest that occurred. Somebody pulled their boat into the docks, and I think it was Asmodi, I believe.
It was kind of him to amuse us that way.
Yeah, it was great. I liked it. So so there we are. That's the state of the game at this point. Of course, we're stable. We're on release 107. We're in final cleanup mode for the recovery efforts, and of course, we're also going into our holiday schedule. So, not really gonna be seeing anything major as far as new content or anything until January at this point. But we're gonna keep on forging forward and fixing bugs and doing quality of life type stuff. See that?
And I've got to get a cloak in too. If that, I know somebody was working on it. Was it maybe Stacy said? Somebody said Stacy was working on the cloak. I don't see how that's possible, but I'm going to work on getting the cloak in for the next patch. That would be the what's it called? The One Life.
Extra life?
Extra life.
Extra life. That's all I can think of.
Chris, you're working in your sleep. It's already in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. She pinged me, and I took care of it.
Okay.
So it's
Great.
it's in the game. It's tested. It was one of the things I did on this during the sanity test. Made sure that it was up and running and live and had the right name on it and all those neat things. So it should be good. Yep. So I'm wandering around here on this deserted island, and I wanted to let everybody know this is actually going to be the future home of the Bug Brigade's houseboat. We're moving into Brecon Bay, and we will have our houseboat docked over here, I believe. I think this is the lot that the houseboat will go on. And
Yep, around the other corner.
oh, is it the
That
other
one's
one?
too small.
Oh, this one over here on the side.
To the right. Yep.
Okay, there you go. Okay. So it'll be this one over here. And then we'll also have these other two lots, the one that I was just standing by before and the one that's up on top of this hill for events and stuff. So that'll give us some more space to spread out and do some more interesting things.
And not have all the other deco of Ardoris interfering.
Right, exactly. So I just figured I'd mention that while I was hanging out here. This is where I last logged into the game. So, okay. All right. Well, Chris, if there's anything else you want to talk about before you have to take off.
Nothing. I think nothing new, but of course, I assume everybody watches every single stream and pays attention for every little bit or a bit of it. As I mentioned in the chat here, I guess some people didn't know that I've been away from Shroud for a while, helping out with some other stuff, and I'm going to be returning to Shroud in a full-time manner here over the next week or two. I'll probably be semi-full-time next week, and then kind of move on back. Just again, I've already got my schedule full of stuff that is not player facing, but I will be doing stuff full time and be much more in touch with things like cloaks and other stuff. So
yep. So yeah, and that's the number one task that we have assigned to Chris at this point is the gold, and that's a close second with the hardware changes, because of course those hardware changes are holding up our work efforts on Unity 2021. Once we get that going, then Devil Cult, primarily Devil Cult, and then I'll assist as much as I can. We'll continue on with the 2021 stuff. So hopefully 2023 will bring in a new server base for us, and we'll be moving forward with that.
all right. I'm actually going to drop off video. I'm going to stay here and chat for just a little while, but I've got to get back to helping the wife and family with the stuff that I've been away, or since I've been away for a while.
Okay, have fun.
I will be in chat. Oh no, I just got a John Marcus just gave me bits.
Ah, he's got the lead, huh? Oh yeah,
All right,
there
well,
it is. There it is.
All right. Well, I'll give me a few minutes here, and then I'll give a quick song.
Okay.
Unless, can one of you guys cover for me? Keith?
Nah.
Steven?
I could do it. I could do it towards the end. I'll make a fool of myself again. I have no problem
You
with
make a fool of yourself this time. I'll give him a free one next time.
that. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to jump into chat here. I'll stay on for a little while. And happy to be back, but also exhausted.
Well, welcome back.
All right, guys. See you in chat here in a minute.
Yep.
Bye.
Just a little bit. All right. So,
I got some questions that popped up I saw, so if I can just jump in real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
All right, I'm Keith Quinn, Sannio on the forums. By the way, the guy who bowed out is Chris Spears, Atos, our big cheese. I'm a Quest guy. And of course, Steven, probably everyone knows Steven, but if you want to introduce yourself, and then
Absolutely.
Allium.
Yep. I go by Ravalox in game, and I work on well, pretty much a little bit of everything. Lately, I've been doing the builds and operations and things along those lines. So that I'm a junior world builder and working on basically player dungeons, and that's where my concentration is going to be going into the next quarter.
And then we also have Allium.
Who is in charge of the bug forums with the other bug moderators and release and patch notes and general peanut gallery for letting people know when there are problems and helping them test.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so I want to. Someone asked, where is it? Stymie asked, "What's the ETA on the Vicklin dungeon?" So Vicklin is a new scene that was introduced recently into our episode 2 area of Shroud of the Avatar. Vicklin's sort of like a big shoreline scene. It's got these spiders, elves, boars, things to fight and find. A lot of statue things. These new runic monoliths that were added in. And I mentioned a few times that there's going to be sort of like a second area. Sometimes I call it the Secret Valley. It's not accessible yet, but that'll come in. I'm not really sure when. Let's say 2 releases, but give or take. And then Lord Arak asked, "Did you delete Yellow Gem because the scene isn't ready?" So we have gems that show up as loot on some creatures, and it's our typical arrangement of colors except for yellow. So like red, blue, not the yellow yet. Green, purple, orange, black, and white. The yellow is being held back because you'll need the yellow for access into this sort of tunnel system that leads to the Secret Valley. But once, and that'll be a part of a quest. You get it as part of the quest, and then when you sort of finish a certain stage of that quest, then the yellow will just start dropping as normal. So you'll be able to get that as well. Today I was doing some tweaks on the new runic monoliths. If you don't know what the runic monoliths are, I don't know if you're near one, Stephen. Do you know where they are? Have you seen them?
No, I haven't seen them yet. Oh,
If you,
no, it's a statue.
where can you go? I'm trying to think of. Yeah, go to that statue, right?
That statue?
No, not that statue. That's not the one. Go to. Just keep wandering around. It might be easier to see if you can change the time of day.
Yeah, I did it.
I don't know if you know where any stuff is in there. Do you know where? Just keep going forward, I guess. Yeah. See, that's what. Yeah.
Towards the shipwreck.
So the runic monoliths, there's 6 of them. They are inland. They're not on the shoreline. They are. There's a small circle of stones and then a large stone in the middle, toward the back, and in the center of the stones, sort of, is a shorter stone, sort of like a table, acting as a table with a bowl on top. And what you could do, there are certain rune stones, Vicklin rune stones, that drop in this area as loot, and you can take those and you can offer them up to one of these runic monoliths. So there's 6 runic monoliths. Yeah, there you go. He's going towards one. So they are So we have truth, love, and courage in our game as sort of reputation things. And so what you're looking at, so you're looking at the for shorthand, the positive love runestone.
It would not be positive love to kill those bears.
Right. Well, you don't know. Maybe they were trained to attack you. Maybe they just enjoy it. But maybe you're hungry. You need to eat. Maybe you need to have clothes for your family.
Get away from me, kid. You're bugging me.
So anyway, so if you did have the proper runestone, you could offer it up there, and then just for a quick second, you or anyone in that sort of circle of stones will get positive love. So by the way, you can share it with your friends in that way. You'll get some a little positive love change. You do it once a day, and they're in. So there's a positive love, positive truth, negative truth, positive courage, negative courage, spread throughout the scene. I'm putting little changes, so there'll be a little compass marker for each. The positive ones will have like a little sort of like a up arrow marker above the big symbol on the monolith and also on the little table situation. And there'll be a negative one below the item if it's a, like a down arrow if it's a negative virtue change. And what else? So you got a hint when you walked up to it. I have a gimmick on it that the hint only shows up once a day because I didn't want to be a nuisance to players. So I didn't want to have you like get the hint. I'm sort of open on that. Like if players kind of want to see the hint every time, then maybe I'll end up changing it. I'm not sure. So you're in Vicklin right now, and that's kind of where I've made up the idea of the monoliths. But we actually had two other scenes that is sort of a Norgard barbarian-ish based that have what we call runestones. So there's Ulfheim has runestones for a different purpose, and Spindleskog has runestones for a different purpose. So I decided I'm going to take these runic monoliths and also put them in those other scenes. So if you didn't know it, they're also in those other scenes, and they'll work the same way and get improved the same way. If you get like if you use the positive love marker here, the monolith here, then you can't use it in Ulfheim, for example. You can only use it in one place once a day. So that's how they work.
Cool.
I also have something that's kind of like a treasure hunt sort of thing in this scene in Vicklin. And Rinaldi asks, can treasure hunts in Vicklin be done more than once? If so, is it only once a day? So the gimmick on that is sort of a passive daily in the sense that so there's no NPC involved in the treasure hunt gimmick. You find your first this is a little spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, sort of like tune out for like 5 minutes. You will loot your first hint as to where the treasure map is. Then you go find a treasure map and a key. They sort of paired up. Each treasure map of I think there's 7 of them, and has a key that's paired with it. And then what you do is you follow the instructions on the map, and the instructions. You remember there was a statue sort of toward the shoreline that Stephen was walking past before of a certain figure. So the small one and also the biggest mountain, if you look up, Stephen, somewhere up on the highest peak, is going to be a bigger version of the statue I'm talking about. It's like I call it a witch in the instructions. It's sort of like a hooded woman figure, and in front of her there's a smaller figure.
Behind you and past the immediate rock to your.
Get up that rock.
Okay, past that big rock in front of you.
Oh, okay. So go this way. All right.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Curve around it.
It's roughly in the center of Vicklin is the main one. So that's kind of like the anchor where they all start, where your orientation for the treasure hunt starts. It's not a treasure map in the sense that there's not pictures. There's descriptions that describe. They all roughly start out the same way.
Right from here.
Start at the orient yourself with the tallest figure, then go in a certain compass direction, and then you'll find a smaller statue that has like the same woman but a different smaller figure in front of her, like it might have a troll or a satyr or something.
Yep, I see it.
You do?
Yeah, this is up here, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then when you go to the secondary location, which is the smaller statue, and from there you sort of like try to look around according to the instructions to find a spot to dig. If anyone has done Penmore Island, the treasure chests are kind of based on that. So you get to a certain spot, you'll realize that the ground itself has no indicator, but your mouse will highlight green, and then when you interact with the ground, you will be able to dig up the treasure chest and get some loot. There's a limit. There is a daily limit on. So the keys you can get, one of each key you can get basically just back to back to back. When you, let me see if I can remember this. When you start to dig up the treasure chest, the instructions are consumed, and then you get a daily flag that blocks you from acquiring a new instructions at the time. I think I allow you to get multiple instructions. Only one of a certain. Like I said, there's kind of 7 targets. You can get one of each target. So potentially, if you collect them, you can do 7 treasure hunts in a day, of one of each type. But really, it's meant to be. It's for most people, it's going to be a 1-a-day situation. So there's no way. It's different than a lot of our normal quests. The normal quest, the common idea of a quest is you go to some NPC somewhere, some character, and they say, "I need your help with this," and go do something for me. Come back, I'll give you a reward. Or go do something, and then go to a different person, you'll get a reward from them. Maybe you find something in the wilderness, and you realize you have to bring it to somebody for some reason, and then you bring it to them. They go, "Oh, this is something I didn't expect to find. Thanks for bringing it back. Here's a reward." So this is completely different because there's no NPCs involved. It's all just looting based. So hopefully people like it.
I want to jump in here with one thing and say that the phrase that pays is skull.
Skull. How do you spell that?
SKAL. And there's some variants that we'll accept, but SKAL exclamation point would be the best way to do that. And that'll be for the prizing award at the end of the stream, which we're currently doing 2 draws on the prizing.
All right. I wanted to add one other. Did you finish?
Yep.
I think
go
you
ahead.
Okay. So it's the rune stones that we talked about. So I made the new rune stones for the runic monolith quest, and then, like I said, I applied it to the Spindleskog rune stones and also the Ulfheim rune stones. One other thing I've added is that they should now all be able to be placed as decorations. So the Spindleskog rune stone has its own look and also now its own icon. And the same with the Ulfheim runestone and icon, and all 3 of them, you can place them as decorations in your house. Which before they were just sort of a generic looking stone icon in your inventory, but now they're got a little loving.
Oh, there's another one.
That's the main one. That big one right on that big peak. That's the main one that to start your orientation.
Right.
And then the one on the lower left.
Stone.
Yeah. Oh, standing stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the truth ones or something.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the attention to detail, It's definitely really cool. I like that.
I'm trying to scroll. All right, I caught up on the scroll. I was trying to see if other people were asking about the changes and the additions. I do like to put in these daily quests or activities because you can talk to NPCs in the area and that's fine. They have things to say, but and you might have your own personal reasons to come back. But I like to think that anytime you get a quest here, it makes you feel more productive in the area. And if you ended up having like 2 or 3 daily quests even that you can do at the same time, I know it makes me feel extra productive while I'm in the scene. So that's why I put that kind of stuff in there. And then there's the things like the runestones that aren't really quests. They're just an activity that, you know, a little benefit that can help. And actually can help with your friends. Like I said, anyone standing in a runestone or a stranger, you know, someone who's about to be your friend, you know, you can use the runestone, and as long as you're the person next to you is standing in that circle of stones around the runic monolith, they will also get the virtue change. So, and if you don't want the virtue change, then keep that in mind. Don't stand inside that circle. If you do get the if you do get the virtue change, you'll get like a little hint, a little pop-up that'll say that your virtue's been changed. I'll just ask, where is it? Oh, I lost it already. Someone asked, where do you get the runestones, right?
Oh, well, that would actually be a good question to ask.
Oh, right there at the bottom. Cersei Phoenix Fire. You get them, I don't remember. Hold on a second. You get them, I won't say everything, but if, for the most part, humanoids that die in the area might drop them, might drop runestones. They don't always do it. Potentially a chest, if you find a chest, might do it. Yeah, that's it. So humanoids and chests is what I'll say. Potentially there'll be other places, but those are the ones you can look for if you're actually trying to hunt them down. And then Leilu 420S. So did that replace the Runestone quest in Spindleskog? No, the Spindleskog quest is still there. It's temporarily broken. There's a fix in right now. It broke when I basically upgraded the runestones to put in the decoration stuff. I screwed up something. You should still be getting the runestones. You just can't sort of trade them in for the quest temporarily in Spindleskog and in Alfheim. But that'll be fixed with an upcoming update. So just, you know, you'll be back to normal in a day or two, I guess, whenever the update happens. What's the ETA on episode 2 story being complete? Probably a long time. I don't have a good guide for you. My answer is kind of always like, we're putting the pieces in place first. So there'll be the big things we need in place are the different scenes that'll be part of the bigger storyline and the characters that'll relate to the bigger storyline. Roughly what'll happen is you'll come into the area, you'll get a starter quest that introduces the first part of the episode 2 storyline. You'll do some local things, you'll be sent to a new spot. Probably you can sort of go out wherever you want to. As you go to different scenes, you'll have quests and activities you can do in those scenes. Previously, you kind of had to do like thing 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then you sort of like finished up in that scene and moved on to the next part of the story. I kind of want it a little more open-ended. So what'll happen is, let's just say Tanglmire. At the point when you get sent to Tanglmire, or you decide to go to Tanglmire, if you've never been to Tanglmire before, you can pick up some quests and you'll do some things, and maybe there'll be 5 or 7 quests around at the time, including the dailies. And if for each quest, you might have to do like say 4 quests, and that'll sort of unlock the local quest. So you need to get have a little bit of a reputation in an area in order to get like the critical advance the main storyline kind of quest. So you can do the local storyline stuff, and then you'll have to do something for the Tanglmire leadership once you've done some stuff to get a name among the locals. And the Tanglmire leadership says, "Oh, we need you to do the episode 2 main storyline stuff now, and here's what it is, and we know you can do it because you've proven yourself among our people." So you don't have to do all, if it's 7 quests, you don't have to do all 7 sort of local quests. You can do you can do all of them, but you only need to do a subset, your choice of which ones, to unlock the main anchor quest of that area. And then when a certain number of the main quest, anchor quests, I don't know what the term I might use. Sometimes I call it silver quests. If you think of the little ones as bronze quests, the sort of like the main quest of an area, like the main quest of Tangemire would be a silver quest. The main quest of Vicklin would be a silver quest. You do enough of the silver quests, and then you unlock, the next stage of the gold quest, which is the big episode 2 storyline. So you'll get, I'm trying to embrace the open world aspect of it, which I don't think a lot of games do. Like, you may have an open world, but the quest is still super linear. So I'm trying to sort of have it be, choose which way you want to go. And then eventually you'll sort of be led to like certain like critical areas to sort of save the day or destroy the world, whichever you want to do. That is also something I want to do. I want to sort of try to embrace sometimes where you can do the good guy or bad guy thing. I kind of think in a lot of the episode 1 storyline pieces, you kind of it just gave you the good guy choice. We just gave you the good guy choice. And which is okay sometimes if you want to play as a bad guy, but you should at least sort of like allow the player to offer justification as to why that bad guy does this good guy thing. And what I do in a lot of my quests, you'll see there's conversation choices, and it's not huge good guy or bad guy choices, but usually it's like the kind versus the jerk response, or the loving versus the hateful response, or the courageous versus cowardly response. And I want you to feel with these conversation choices, I want you to feel like you're actually playing a character, that you're making some choices. And I'm remembering some flags behind the scenes, and sometimes that'll actually make a difference. I don't do it a lot. Sometimes it really convolutes the logic, but I do it as often as I can when it's appropriate. So that was a big answer. I think I went off on a huge tangent, but there you go. Episode 2 storyline. That's how it works.
Yeah, there you go. It's a big, complicated thing. So basically, I mean, we want to get all the scenes in first and go from there, right? It's piece by piece, like you said in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to throw in some Ask a Dev questions that we have here. One thing that has been coming up recently, and want to address it because it's definitely a thing. Folks are saying you can't post in the bug forums on the forums unless you purchase something on the website. That's currently a fact. It's not what we want. There's work that needs to be done to get that fixed. This was something that was done way back in the day to try to mitigate spammers and people coming in based on the way the forum structure was. But now the website is still in that situation. That's why we have to have that firewall there. Otherwise, we'd be battling spammers and stuff every day. Actually, we still pretty much do, but the number of people who would come in and start spamming the forums with absolute garbage would be insane. So we're implementing some changes on the website that are going to take some time to do. Y'all might remember back a few months ago that we've been talking about getting off of the Amazon Workspaces platform. And we have successfully done that, so we're off that now. And now we need to go back in, along with the Portalarium cleanup, is not being part of Portalarium anymore, all that. We're getting that off the website. And the website structure itself needs to change to allow us to do email verifications when new accounts are created. This will allow us to change the structure and then allow everybody to post in any of the forum sections without having any kind of a paywall or anything like that. And it's not like we're looking to have you guys spend any, large amounts of money. As it is right now, if you went in and bought some bank slots or an extra character space or anything like that, I think the cheapest one up there is like $4 when it's not on sale. That's what it is right now. But again, this is not a justification. We don't want that to be there either. Right now, the website structure requires it, and it's code that's embedded into the core of the system. So that'll be coming. Hopefully, I wanted to have that done like 6 months ago, but we definitely have a lot of things that ended up getting in the way. So we'll keep working on that. Looking down here, see if there's anything else. And by the way, we don't read off all the Ask a Devs on air, as it were, but there is definitely a bunch of stuff in here that are really good. And it's a matter of getting them into the queue and getting the small team that we have to work on the stuff. So
most of the Ask a Dev questions end up being like programmer specific too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when I'm here, I'm not a programmer, so I can't answer those. Or sometimes they're art based, and I do some tweaking of some art stuff, like the colors and things, but not the 3D pieces. Like I can't make new decorations that never existed before.
Yep.
Like a table that never existed. I can't make a table.
Right.
Or a soup bowl?
Well, that existed. I was able to kit batch a few things together and make the bowls of stew. So I can definitely do that. I can slap things together and call it done. I did do actually. So I did a change with some elves, the evil enemy elves, which are the elf. I'll call them bandits, and the Obsidian Eye elves who worship the Obsidian Eye. So both the bandit and Obsidian elves have some color improvements. We had. I was looking into another bug, and a lot of times I'll go down like a big rat hole, and I'll find something that needs to be tweaked. And I realized that there's a whole bunch of stuff that could be improved. And so what I did with elves was I saw that we had a bunch of like color variants of some elf costumes of the, we kind of have 4 types of elves. We have 3 types of elves. There's the melee elves, the archer elves, and then the spellcaster elves. And then we talk about the Obsidian Eye elves, but they're kind of basically just sort of cultist versions of the same 3 guys. They don't really have their own look. All the female elves had all these colorful variants, and only the male caster elves had the variants, but the male melee and range didn't. So jumping down the rat hole, I figured out how to do sort of colorizing of things, which I didn't know how to do before. I had to reverse engineer a bunch of stuff. And I made variants for the males. So now we had like the full set of like color sets for elves. And then what I did was I applied that to our elves in the game. So we had some color variations at the low levels for different elves. It was kind of like random, maybe, or sometimes it felt random. And then as you go up higher and higher in the tier of the difficulty of the elves, they were losing their randomness. So, the fact that we have male and female is awesome, but we were losing the male and female sort of 50-50 ratio. It was coming like mostly male. And then a lot of times just became like the default male melee look for a lot of guys. So what I did was I sort of came up with some patterns in my head, and I decided, so what you'll see now is, if I can remember the colors. So I alternate colors between tier. So an example is the melee guy. So the odd tiers, they are sort of blue highlighted, and the even tiers, they are tan or brown highlighted. And then I sort of have this pattern of like male to female to sort of like alternate. So it's not always like female is always blue. I sort of like screw up the pattern to make sure they always sort of alternate, and that goes all the way up the line. And if there's ever a special melee character, like in Verdantis, there's like a different color, or if they have a hammer, they have a different color. That they don't have the blue or the brown. They might have like green that is normally used by archers. Archers have like a green set and a yellow set, and the casters have a red set and a white set that they alternate. And then anyone who's kind of labeled Obsidian, they use black and purple, regardless of if they're melee, caster, or ranged. So sort of complicated stuff, but it'll sort of enforce diversity in that you'll see all the way up the difficulty levels, like some colors alternating. You'll see consistency, so you kind of know for the most part a melee guy will be like brown or tan, and Obsidian guys will be purple or black for the most part. But if there's variants like one with the hammer or is from a control point, you'll see some color variation. So the other rare colors will actually sort of be used in the game in some spots. And if we ever sort of, I probably didn't sort of cover all the elves that I should have, but if we ever have, like, say, special tough guy elves, like in a wave battle, the pseudo boss, then he'll probably get a special color to make him get set apart from the rest of the crew. Part of the reason why this came up is because we do have some Obsidian elves that wander around in Vikland, so I'm still focused on Vikland lately, and so that sort of opened up some things. And also, I was doing Vikland stuff and also Blood River Outskirts stuff, so I just sort of went back and forth with those. So anyway, so that's some of the variation, some of the artwork variations that I can do in the game, and that you'll see. I don't know if the elf changes are in the game yet, but they'll be in with an upcoming update if they're not in yet. A lot of rambling I'm doing today.
No, you're doing fine. Good to fill time, because we're feeling the need to get those build servers fixed again, or I shouldn't say fixed, but the upgrade and expansion that we're doing. The prisoning task is currently pending 3 minutes before I get the first one run. So then I'll have to kick the second one immediately and try to bump it up to the top of the pile. we have about 45 minutes worth of integration stuff working right now, because somebody has the nerve to actually be doing work.
Is that me?
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah. When I look at the spreadsheet that gets sent around, like everyone verified that these are changes coming on, I see, like, man, I got a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Got a big list. A lot of them are tiny. It's fix a typo here and there, but it really does sort of like bloat up my my list to make it look like I'm sort of doing a ton of stuff.
Speaking of typos, there's an Ask Dev in here. This is Ali might be interested in knowing this. It says that the variant name is still showing up on the Snowy Owl for some reason.
I checked that by mousing over the store. I didn't actually try poofing the items, but
yeah,
you said you fixed that.
I know. That's why I'm confused. It's Warrior B. Patrick. He says he's still seeing variant on pets that have been in rewards in Koto's store. I bought the Snowy Owl today, and it was named Variant 1 Owl Decoration Pet, which is not supposed to be the thing. So I'm gonna have to go and look into that.
Should it just be like Snowy Owl Pet or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the asset name, everything, it's all correct in the database in the editor. So.
So Warrior but Patrick, you have given us a mystery.
Yes.
Creek 2 River says when placed it has correct name, but in inventory it has variant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, now we know what it is. Okay, that we can fix.
Jared Caliph asks a weird question: do you devs still use Jira to track stuff? Yeah, we still use it.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
I like it. We don't use probably like all the bells and whistles. We use mostly basic stuff, but it's definitely good for us.
Yeah, and we're actually manipulating Jira to do things in a different way. So what we've actually kind of created some users and named them as being bins. So like the bugs are being put into what they're being assigned to what normally would be a person, and we're just using that person as a virtual bin. So that way we could sort through the stuff and categorize things. The version of Jira that we're running, today's Jira, I use Jira and some other stuff as well. Today's version of Jira is a hell of a lot more robust and has better features and naming and stuff. But even with this old one that we're using, we could manipulate it and make it do things that we want it to do. So it's very useful. All right, look at, let's see if there's anything else up here. I don't think so. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Laney's saying that the spider's also broken. Same way with the naming. So we'll sort that out. Okay, we have a prizening running, and as soon as this finishes, then I'll be able to run it again and get that going. Oh, geez. Okay, let me see. I'll bring up some lyrics.
All right, what other questions do people have that relate to level design and quests, and things like that? Scenes, adventure scenes. Alexander Stoda asks, how hard would it be to allow renaming of weapons? Like to give your weapon a personal name? I think that'd be probably hard. That would be new tech. Right?
Well, actually, we used to be able to, players used to be able to name items in the game, and it was taken away because of, you know, we can't have nice things type of problem.
Yeah. But
They
you
can
did
still
it,
rename containers.
and also you did it on the weapon, the item creation, right? You couldn't just like rename it like on the fly. Was that correct, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, I think you were able to right click on the item and rename it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
People abused it and then had to get taken away.
Right. And that's you know, because the problem there is that you could rename an item for, you know, if it's a rusty sword, rename it a Vorpal something or other, and then try to sell it on a vendor for a lot more. So that's really the core of where that problem came from. That was the first. I think the first thing that was, if Ali, remind me if I'm right or wrong on this. I think the first change was changing the custom names to orange, right?
Yes, so people could not sell things that had been renamed as supply bundles.
Right.
And that's also why supply bundles now have colors.
Yeah.
For icons.
I remember that now.
Right. And then, you know, of course, that would work with people who are experienced with the system, but if they don't know what the color system is, then they may still get tricked. So
you also can't rely just on colors. It really should be a bigger thing because different people have different monitors and their sites are different. So you can't necessarily count on the color transferring information that you expect. There needs to be like a symbol or a mouse over label or prefix, suffix, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Arik asked, did we talk about the pathing and appearance of the big cats in Vicklin already? Now we have.
Big cats getting displaced from their nameplates when they get knocked around is a known issue.
Okay.
I have to fix something in the prizening script.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know about Vicklin, it does have large, the Black Panthers are in there. They're pretty common, I guess you might say. And then there's also some rare saber-tooth tigers in there, in particular in the wave battle that's in a certain cave that you'll find some statues in this shallow cave. If you kill enough panthers, then additional waves of panthers come out, and also saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah, sorry about this delay on that.
What is the prizing catchphrase, aspiration, spirituality?
Skull. SKAL! Exclamation point.
And you got to say it in any in-game chat to enter into the prizing. And for those who don't know what the prizing is, it's we give away some in-game items during these live streams. And if you say the phrase that pays in the in-game chat, you get entered into the drawing, and then the system will randomly pull your name, hopefully, and will manually send you the prize. Of course, the system doesn't always work, and Steven is doing a quick fix-it job, I think. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's so many stupid dependencies in here. And once we get dedicated servers, I'll be able to change the task around so it won't get blocked by anything. And
Merrick Dragon asks, what if we don't want a prize, but we accidentally say the phrase, like maybe you're explaining to somebody what phrase to say? Then you might still win the prize, but I think they're not no trade, right? Is that correct? Like you'd be able to give it away to somebody?
No, prizes are no trade.
Oh, well, then you're out of luck.
yeah,
You're out of luck because you're lucky.
Well, you could contact Lainey and tell her where you want to send your prize instead of to you.
Well, there you go. Brazen Spirituality says, what if I'm a Vikings fan and say Skol, S-K-O-L? Are we allowing that?
Nah, if you do use the exclamation point, nah, I suppose it's okay.
top
Lord Ark says, oh, let's get more treasure hunts going in other places, like the Demon Key in Vickland. That was cool. Thanks. Glad you like it.
Oh, Lainey says prizes are tradable.
The prizes are tradable. There you go.
solved. All right.
I originally had the treasure hunt instructions more complicated. I originally had the letters in runic.
Oh.
So you would have to like try really hard. But then I was thinking, I'm not really putting like super extra special loot in this chest. So maybe I'll tone it down. I'll pull back a little bit. Let it be in regular English alphabet.
So sorry, we have a few more minutes to go here before the prize. I got it redone, so it should work now, and it's just queued up. We got a couple of minutes here to go.
Something else I've added in Vickland, if you've been in Vickland, but not since the new release, there's now a banker in Vickland. There's a little bank sort of in the middle of the town at one of the crossroads, kind of by the bonfire. I don't, let's see. Can you see it?
I noticed he has a fancy mustache.
Yep. Oh, that's me sort of fiddling around again. I found that's another rat hole. So I wanted to make him the beggar. Yeah, so that 2-story little tower right there, that's the bank. So he's a beggar, and it turns out we actually had like an alternate beggar male head that had like a mustache. Like, why aren't we using this? And if you zoom in real close, you maybe hit the V key and get like really close to his face. You'll see his like little weirdo mustache. And so what I did was, okay, I'm gonna make the mustache, but that's not enough. I'm gonna sort of make a slight variation of his costume. So you'll see he sort of has like a greenish neck piece, and also his clothing is it's hard to see, but it's slightly different than the other one. I don't know if I'd call it necessarily an upgrade from the normal clothes, although the upgrade clothes are just undyed versions of the same thing. There you go. So yeah, that's me doing like little color variation gimmicks. It's not too tough.
He's had a rough life, this guy. But I imagine what if he were to speak, you would hear like the that English accent from somebody who used to like be in fighting in the old wars and stuff.
Yeah, he's a little grumpy, I think, is his attitude. I also, for some reason, I thought I had a public vendor in this scene where so you're looking at the bonfire, and past the bonfire, there's actually a grocery merchant. And I thought the grocery merchant was actually a public vendor while I was creating it. And I had forgotten to actually add the public vendor. So in an upcoming update, there'll be a public vendor there. So the grocery merchant will be nudged a little bit to the left, and will have their own sign. And then to the right underneath that sign, because if you hover over that sign, if you mouse over that sign, it actually says public vendor, I think.
Oh yeah, it does.
that'll stay, and a public vendor will be next to it, and the grocery merchant will be pushed to the left a little bit. So they'll be both if you're in the online multiplayer version.
Yes, the grocery merchant with carrots and skulls in this little shed.
Yeah, it was meant to be sort of like a kind of like an everything shed for the public
That
vendor.
curtain slides.
It does, yeah, it's working. I like that curtain.
Yep. But what's going on here? Do we have a?
Is there someone behind you, behind the shed?
I don't know. Oh yeah, there is.
Oh, is that a new painting?
It's a painting that I think we don't use anywhere.
That looks like Elwyn.
Yes, it is. That one. That's a nice painting. I like the frame. I think I dumped that frame into the database.
Oh yes. I would like to see more paintings with frames that are not that standard gilded one.
This is the frame I wanted to use for Scotty's portrait.
Oh yeah.
I get worried sometimes when I find something that we haven't used anywhere that maybe there's a reason we haven't used it.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a reason, then let me know and I'll remove it.
Oh no. This is something I put in. I brought this in with the intent of working on Scotty's portrait and getting that fixed, because that's a long overdue promise as well. That we were going to have an alternate special frame for the people who have the rainbow frame that goes around. Which actually I'll need to talk to you about, because we want to set up one of those merchants that people could go to and say, here's...
so they can trade in if they don't like the rainbow, but keep the rainbow if they want it. Yeah,
exactly. Kind of like what we do with the foals.
Trade. Exactly.
Okay,
yeah, I like that. I like that mechanic. We could use that for a bunch of stuff.
As long as it's not too much, it could be a pain to set those up.
Well.
There's a lot of like logic checks that all sort of have to happen separately.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you first talk to that animal handler who can make that trade for you, they basically have to sort of give a list, like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And they say, they list all these foals so that each one is its own keyword, and you have to go.
Mm-hmm. This one would be easier. It'd only be one item.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, we could even set this guy. In theory, we could set this guy up in Brittany Central in the in Star's antique shop.
Oh yeah. We also have, since it's painting based, we have an artist. We have the
Caravaggio's wolf.
Yeah. Yep. Our art collector.
Yeah.
And the fence who lives behind him, the black market guy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
oh yeah, Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie.
Okay, we got one. Come on.
I put I put that painting there too because I like to imply that there's personality and individuality to different NPCs. So the public vendor, so Norgard is kind of like Norse based people with the higher nobility of Norgard has a blending of some English nobility knights and that kind of stuff. But to me, that's sort of like a spread of their culture. It's that's on one end of and on the far end, it starts swinging towards our barbarians. Barbarians, they live in nature, tree houses, simple things, and somewhere in the middle are a lot of these Norgarders who live in the episode 2 lands. So these Viklanders, they're rough and tumble guys, maybe a little bit more like barbarians in that they sort of like to beat things up, the bikers of the Norgard world. And they have skulls like barbarians would. You wouldn't really see that in Valhalla, but you'll see it here. You'll see it in Tangelmeyer. Tangelmeyer is sort of like a little bit closer to the barbarians. They live more simply. Part of it maybe is because they're afraid of like venturing too far from their village, and their language is their accents are different too. So all the different cultures have their own sort of thing. So these guys They are part of the Norgard Empire that, Brandis is the ruler of. But they're so far away that they have like a certain amount of independence that they can enjoy, and differences in their culture. Like they embrace the skulls and bones.
Okay. Got one going here. Stupid. See, this is why we need a new build machine. That's Chris's #1 task after the gold. We don't need to get the gold thing going.
Just write down all the names that submitted and stick them in a big fish bowl.
Well, all right. So I'm waiting for the last prizing to kick off, and it's got a few minutes here before that's going to happen. So in the meantime, I guess I can embarrass myself with the singing task of singing. So, all right. So I'll do this, and then we'll see what happens. I'm actually going to pick a long one too. It sounds like John Marcus approves. So here we go. All right. I am he is you are he and you are me and we are all together. See how they run like pigs from a gun, see how they fly. I'm crying, sitting on a cornflake, waiting for the van to come. Corporation t-shirt, stupid bloody Tuesday. Man, you've been a naughty boy, you let your face go long. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Goo goo kachoob. Mr. City Policeman sitting pretty little policemen in a row. See how they fly like Lucy in the sky, see how they run. I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm crying. Yellow matter custard, dripping from a dead dog's eye. Crapping like a fish whack, pornographic priestess. Boy, you've been a naughty girl, you let your knickers down. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Goo goo kashoob. Sitting in an English garden waiting for the sun. If the sun don't come, you get a tan from standing in the English rain. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Goo goo kachoob, goo goo kachoob choob. Expert, texpert, choking smokers, don't you think the Joker laughs at you? Come on, laugh. Ho ho ho, hee hee, ha ha ha. See how they smile like pigs in the sky, see how they snide. I'm crying. Semolina Pilchard, climbing up the Eiffel Tower. Elementary penguins singing Hare Krishna. Man, you should have seen them kicking Edgar Allan Poe. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Goo goo kachoob, goo goo kachoob, goo goo kachoob, choob 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 goo choob. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you. It's hot in here. I don't know why. Okay. So that would be the Beatles. I am the Walrus, for those of you too young to remember.
So we still have only one prize spot prizing, I see.
Yeah, we still have 4 minutes to go. So stretch.
Stretch. All right.
Yeah.
I need more questions and comments so I can rip off people.
Anything, Allie, that you would like to say?
No,
Okay.
I'll think of something.
Are there any changes you'd like me to make in the game that I'll feel obligated to do because you're about to say it in public? That'd be fun.
We have
But
a
our
walrus in
banker-
game.
Banker says banker's not happy when you sit in his chair.
Oh, am I sitting in his chair? Oh, somebody else's.
He's a little grumpy.
Ah,
The
when I was looking at him the other day,
Yeah.
I saw him sitting in a chair on the stool, and I went up and I looked up the tower, and I came down. He was sitting in the chair, so he just switches randomly.
He does. He gets up. He's allowed to move a little bit in his area, so he'll just sort of shift around a little bit. And everyone's going in his house. I wonder why he's mad. And of course, like the rest of the people, he likes to have a little bit of a little splash of color in his area. So you got this super red mailbox right in front. Oh, of course, a mailbox is an addition. Usually, or always, when we have a bank, we also have a mailbox nearby. The public vendor that gets added, he'll be mostly the typical public vendor, but he'll have a little bit of flavor in his words where he likes to. He sort of hints about the stuff that you'll find in his that he can trade has been taken from up and down the coast, because these Vikings are these raiders are like Vikings. They take what they want, and then they, I guess, sell off what they don't. Prankster Fan says, so dial mailboxes? No, it's not a dial mailbox. I don't dye things the way you dye things. The way I swap colors is I find a material that works with the thing I'm fiddling with, and just swap it out. So there was a wood that I liked that I just sort of like slapped on to that thing. It's not the correct red wood. If you compare it to like the other mailboxes, you'll see that it doesn't look exactly right. Once in a while, I will sort of colorize my own item. This is actually like too bright for me, but I went with it because I wanted it to be different than the other similar colors in the area.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I like everyone to have like a little bit of see that you can see that wood right there. Spoiler is that's completely the wrong wood because it has like the lines through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be like one piece of wood, not
boards. Yeah.
And not boards. But I felt it was kind of okay in this case. Potentially could be boards.
Yeah. It fits.
If I didn't bring it up, I think for most people it would be like an invisible thing.
Yeah, see, this one doesn't have lines on it.
Yeah, it's a little too dark too.
Yeah.
At some point in the future, I might come back and actually make custom ones. I'm trying to restrain myself from going down around. Like Vickland itself, the whole region is like 4 times bigger than it should be already. So I'm trying not to go too deep into all these deviation paths.
Yeah. Hey, keep adding things over time,
Yeah. The next thing up is that Secret Valley that you can't get to yet.
Right.
So the way you'll eventually get to it is there'll be a quest, and it'll start with either Hagen or Erling. So Hagen is the leader of these people, and if you go into the do you know where the bear is in here?
The bear.
So spin around, spin to the 180 from where you are.
Okay.
And face south.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I think.
So if you go in that big,
right?
yeah, if you go in that big building right there,
oh,
that is the leader's building. Hagen, he's the warlord.
This one here, right?
No, not that one.
Oh.
That's just someone's house.
Okay. This one here.
The 2-story house. Yeah, by the fence.
Go
I
around
mentioned
the
the bear.
house to the other side of it.
Yeah, on the other side is a bear. Hagen has a we like to associate our barbarians with animals sometimes. So sometimes a barbarian tribe or clan might have be in an area with wolves, and they'll have wolves as like companions, kind of like pets. They'll basically just have the same sort of faction behind the scenes faction label, which will mean that they fight the same enemies that their barbarian companions will fight. And in Vickland, they're kind of paired up with bears. So you'll see like these war bears around. And Hagen himself, of course, has the biggest warbear and obsidian warbear, and you can talk to him. He won't really say anything, but you can talk to the bear, and you can ask his name if you want.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
So Osborne is the companion of Hagen. Hagen's wife recently died, and it's related to Erling, his son. So there are a few kids around here. Erling is one of the kids that you'll find, and if you talk to either Hagen or Erling, they'll sort of talk about it. But the quest that'll initiate you being able to access the Secret Valley will relate to those story elements. Elwyn Moon says the other two bears need name tags. So that some of there might be more than two bears. It's randomized. Some of the guard bears, some of the guards will actually pop up as bears instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, there's one bear out there.
One bear. Woof.
Yeah.
Start. Oh, go back. I'm hitting the wrong keys.
Crossfire Bug's Eye says you should be able to ask Osborne to dance. I actually wish I could sort of make animals dance like that. Like in a conversation with a humanoid NPC, I can trigger certain emotes for that humanoid NPC to do. I can't do it with non-humanoids. And when I say humanoids, I mean anyone using like the normal human skeleton. So like a bandit, a zombie, a skeleton, an elf, those are all fine. But if it's like a satyr or a kobold or a bear, it's just, you're out of luck. I'm out of luck. It'd be great though. That'd be awesome.
Well,
So bears do have a dance. You just don't have a
yeah, I don't have a way
to trigger. Okay.
Yeah.
Might be something to ask Devil Cult about.
Yeah.
I mean,
What would be cool is that it's actually there, and then I just didn't know I could do it. But,
yeah, I would suspect that there's a way to do it. It's just
yeah, they all have a dance and a set. That isn't much, but it is something to work with.
Yeah.
A long time ago, when we had a bigger team, we had a plan in mind to have like somewhere from like 8 to 12 common emote animations that every NPC could do if I forced them to do it. And if they didn't have that specific one, there was sort of like a fallback system. So, for example, like some of the emotes we'd use a lot, what might be like nervous, we look back and forth, or gaze, things like that. You know, like every NPC might have that, but or talk angry. But right now, everyone has just a specific response.
We have prizes. So we can do this. Would anybody like to do prizes or character names?
I only see 2 listings.
Yeah. Well, that's the normal one. I could run one more if you want. We could do a third.
Oh, is that normal? I thought there was always 3.
I think it was always 2. Well, it's usually there's some other reason or other that we get more added on.
We make up a reason to add a third. Well, I'm making up a reason to add the third.
Okay, well, I'll add a third then.
Ignorance is the best reason of all to add a third set of prizes.
This thing is definitely acting. Come on.
Submarine Mike volunteers to do names.
What if it was just that easy?
So we talked about the banker and variants I do. We talked about Erling is the son of the leader. Originally, we actually only had, for kids, we only had a boy and a girl. And so a long time, maybe it was like a year ago, I realized that we actually had color variants already waiting in the wings for the boy and the girl. Slightly different, like clothing changes. So what I did was I hooked those up at one point, but I didn't just hook it up. I made the variant girl a little smaller, and I made the variant boy a little taller. So that way, if you're looking at a group of kids, it's not just sort of the clothing. There might be like a little bit of like a height variation to sort of like force some differences. Nothing too crazy, but that was something else. And then I also we had these, sometimes we call them urchins, which are kids, like if you go to the orphanage in Brittany Alleys, is it? Brittany Alleys.
Yeah.
There's some kids who might steal something from you. We call those urchins. And they have slight color variations as well, very slight. Rinaldi
I
says,
had no idea urchins would steal from you. They're also in Tenebris Harbor?
yeah, and they are also in Vickland, I think. Did I put them in Vickland? I think I put them in Vickland. And so the kind of the way they work, or the way they're supposed to work, if they still work, is that if you stand near them for too long, like pretty close to them, they might like take a little bit of gold out of your pocket. They're kind of like imps. They're actually, I think that the code was actually a variant of imps, like someone like duplicated the imp stuff and made some tweaks.
Yeah, there's a flash of gold when an imp steals money from you. I don't think I've ever seen that around an urchin.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't work exactly the same. I don't remember all the differences. It's been so long. Rinaldi says, I like all the details of Vickland, crashing waves and stuff like that. I don't know if you mean the visuals, but at some like rocks and on the docks, I do have like little extra splash effects that I put there. Maybe you mean that. It could also be that I've added in, if your sound is on and if you listen when you're close to the water, you hear like wave noises. There's also like we can't do too many flocks, which is in like groups of birds that also fly around or fish. But if you look up in some spots, there's some seagulls up in the air.
They're there.
Yeah, they're kind of too expensive, as we call it, which kind of stinks. I wish they were like I could just slap them down all over the place, because anytime I had a fishing hotspot, I'd actually probably put one over it.
Yeah, that's what I was doing with the basement scene that I was working on, or
Yeah,
still am working on.
to
Yeah, and that's too much. I'm sure that's one of the things that you're going to want to probably rip out. But maybe when we go to 2021, we may be able to reevaluate that. It might have the overhead might be better.
Yeah, if you look at the boat, so you're standing right next to like an orange sail boat, which is a list teleporter. So it'll actually bring you out to the overworld if you want to, or it'll bring you across the channel to the next island, which is nice if you want to go there. But if you look at the boat, it's not just sort of the normal list boat. I actually changed the materials on that boat, an easy swap. So you can see it's got sort of like a Viking style, which is the same as the boat behind you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, very cool.
A lot of little subtle things. Sometimes I'm worried that some of the stuff I do is too subtle, but I'm hoping that the collection of all these things adds up, and you sort of realize that everything's different, even though you may not know all the specifics of what's different.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the these touches that make it unique. Make the scene fit to the idiom. All right, we got.
It was interesting. Just a few days ago, I actually noticed another flock that I had never noticed before. There's scavenger birds circling over hallowed plains.
Oh. That could
be yeah. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Another subtle thing that I put throughout here is like a lot of the wood has a sun bleached version, or what we already had some sun bleached things, and I made similar variants for other wood pieces that I needed. So everything's like a lot of stuff is like lighter than it should be, as in like the lampposts the wood planks that act as streets, that big platform that the boat is on, the walls of the two-story buildings. So everything is like a little bit lighter than it would have been normally that you'd seen in another scene.
Cool. Some of the stuff does need LODs though.
Yeah, that's another rat hole I usually fall down, which is I find something that doesn't have LODs or the LODs stink, and I fix it. LODs, if you don't know, are whenever we have an item like a prop or a building or something in the game, we have actually usually multiple versions of it. When you're close up, you can see the really detailed version of it. As you pull back, it changes. You don't need to see all that detail, so we actually swap out a lower detail one, and it actually helps with performance. And sometimes you go far enough away, and maybe the building or the platform or whatever just goes away completely.
Poof.
And we have some things that have great LED setups. We might even have like 4 sets of like detail level that, you know, as you pull back, it sort of just really subtly sort of like switches to low detail, and it's pretty awesome. Other times we just say, like, if you get back too far, we're just going to make the thing disappear. You don't need to see it at all, because like maybe it's small, like a cup. And then we have some things that you know, I don't know, maybe I'll find a table and I'll see the LOD is terrible because you'll only go back like 20 feet and it disappears. Like, that's ridiculous. And then I'll start fixing that and I'll double check it and I'll realize, wait a second, there's only one detail level in this table set, but actually it's actually waiting in the wings. There's like 2 more detail levels. Why are we not using that? And then I'll sort of set up, okay, now we have like the first and second and third one in 3 different waves, and then it'll disappear when it's far away. And so I try to fix things as we go.
Yeah, and actually that stuff actually affects when I'm the scene map making. So when I do that and I take the screenshot of the scene through the editor, it there's a bunch of stuff that just disappears. Like those pilings along the shore, they disappear completely, and I have to go into Photoshop and recreate them in some way, shape, or form if I want that detail, for instance.
Mm.
So
there's been a couple times when actually you pull back too far, and then the really low LOD, the level of detail version, the really low version maybe actually isn't made well. Maybe there's like holes in it. Like, oh, it stinks. I want to use a low detail version, but I don't want this.
So, yeah, or it's actually the wrong thing. I remember when the first time when I think Upper Tiers has skeletons staked out on poles, and you get too far away and they become flags.
Oh, that's yeah. Fixed, so that's a designer error. So the other one, when the art is made bad and maybe there's holes in it, I try to do something simple if I can. Like maybe I'll just put like a big cube inside of it or something, sort of like block the holes. So when you're at distance, you don't see the holes. You don't really see what's going on, and that's usually fine. The thing you're talking about, we also do that sometimes by accident with like large rocks. So as you're running around Vikland, if I had changed the color of the rocks, maybe the rocks were all darker. You might look off in the distance. If you're far enough away, you might see like a light version of a rock, and then you move towards it, and then boop, it flips darker. That's because we have LODs in there, and I didn't actually change the color of all the LODs. We do that sometimes. In your case, when the thing flips to a flag, they not only didn't fix the LODs for the skeletons on the pikes, but they also just left in the probably the thing that they copied it from. That they tweet. It's easy. Sometimes it's easy to copy something that's pretty close to what you have, and then start swapping things out.
All right. So they copied it. They swapped out the skeleton on the top layer and didn't touch the LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's already been fixed. So.
Yeah. So as you move around, we just passed an elf.
Yeah, I just walked right by him.
New coloring.
Oh, that's right. I should go look at him closer then.
Yeah. Hopefully, everyone picks up on the coloring. You don't have to pick up on it like actively, but hopefully the coloring sort of intuitively makes sense and helps guide your play. Like you get a it helps you understand, like at a glance, that maybe at a distance you see somebody he's wearing blue. You're like, oh, that's probably a melee guy.
Yeah,
It's jerks in the shadows. Come out of the shadows, you idiot.
Yeah, really.
You just turn off your shadows.
I'm not allowed to turn off my shadows when I'm streaming.
You could probably go up the hill and it'll probably follow you.
No, actually, I did go up the hill and
Corner pull him.
it's kind of a steep hill, I think.
You should be able to go up though. I think it's.
Oh, there he goes. There you are.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look at the list here.
Yeah, so he's got blue belt with red buttons or something on the.
Sithel says we were talking about LODs, so Sithel says you should do that with intent sometimes. Have the wrong LOD at far range in the desert to make it seem like a mirage. Actually, that's something I've been thinking about a lot, and I keep wondering where to use it. Like to have the high detail, and when you get close, it's either not there at all, or it's something else that was similar shape.
Yeah,
I like that. I would want a story behind it, though. I wouldn't want to just sort of throw it in there because I think people would think it's a bug. I think you'd need a little bit of a setup, like a story setup, I think, for it.
You can combine that nicely with the way that palm trees actually fade out at distance and become translucent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that could be something, where you're in a desert area and some guy says, there's rumors of whatever, blah, 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 and be careful, because when you go into the desert, you'll drink the wind and stuff like that. Just a general setup.
And then Tular Fairlow says, wouldn't individual players' LOD setting make that not work? I don't know that the same thing. Are they the same thing?
No.
Yeah, there's a slider for how far you need to be away for a level of detail to kick in, I think.
But it's probably so a lot of times in these games we use the same term to mean a bunch of different things. So I think your LOD setting is not the same as my LOD setup.
Yeah, this is not the level of detail in here is actually for preventing the system from being more refined on it. And that's just to make it easier for your GPU to deal with things if your GPU is not the top of the line. So that's not the distance. That's actually just the quality level.
Yeah. If you look out to the far distance where you can see a bunch of trees and rocks and change that level of detail slider, you can see that change here. Mm-hmm. Oh, in fact, I just saw the trees behind you change.
Yeah. So
we definitely reuse a lot of terms like level and scenario and effect. They just mean all sorts of different things. The context is critical when you're talking about these things.
I think he gets sick and tired of firing fireballs at me. All right, well, let's read off some prizes. We've kept these people hostage long enough. All right, so I'll do character names if somebody else does the prizes.
I could do the prizes.
Okie dokie. So go ahead.
All right, you ready for the first one?
Sure.
The Day of the Dead mask with top hat.
And that goes to Makade Maigan and Scanfor and Cookie Lady Lancermane.
Nice. Okay, and the second prize, or an additional prize, another prize, not second prize, another prize is Zombie Wings.
And that goes to Elwyn Moon, Keyman, and Stymie Savage Fury.
And another prize we have is the Viking Merchant outfit.
That goes to River Styx, and John Marcus, and Markin.
Nice.
Did I read off the second one correctly? It was Keyman for the zombie wings?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. My brain is fried.
Okay. And our next prize up is the Viking Brazier 3-pack.
And that goes to Sasha Emerson and Dorn Slate and Flair Minamoto.
Great. Congratulations. And our final prize today is the Durham Gray Leather Chesterfield Sofa and Chair Set.
And that goes to Arya Bloodmoon, Sire Kerr, and Old Sup. Congratulations to everybody for prizes.
Yeah, congratulations.
Hey. Okay.
Something else that people might notice, by the way, with the I'm reminded that the elf is shooting you, that it might be more elves might be saying things. They may not say it more often. It may not happen a lot, but you may have like
some barking.
Some barking now and again.
Oh, cool.
I'll have to double check, but yeah. Barking is what we call the incidental phrases that NPCs just sort of like spit out when you're walking past. Like a merchant might say, "Come up here and buy my stuff," and guys like this elf might say, like, "Die, Outlander," or whatever. It's called barks.
Yeah. Okay. So that will wrap up our stream. I wasn't even I wasn't even thinking that this was going to be a long one. I figured this was going to be a short stream, but I think we filled up the time very well. Thank you, Keith, for Sannio for showing us Vicklin and giving us some of the under the hood details.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that people had good questions that I can answer. Like a lot of times, I'll pick and choose. But like I said, I'm not a programmer. I'm not like a 3D artist, so I can't answer some of those questions about things in the store or how systems work. But I can definitely talk about quests and the how to set up the scene and all the weird extra little tidbits that I do to flesh out a scene. I actually had some things that are like game wide that I was able to talk about, like the elf changes and the monoliths. So that helped.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right. With all that said, folks, and unless Allie, do you have anything to say on the outro?
Nope.
Okie dokie. So here we go. Another release wrapped up. Our next release is a short release. We will be doing release 108 on the 17th of November. So keep that in mind. And also we turned 2XP back on for the weekend. We will be turning that off at the end of Monday, at midnight at the end of Monday. And the patch 1, we have a few minor things that need to be fixed. So there's a patch getting ready to go, but I'm expecting, unless there's something critical, everything that you have in there, Keith, that could wait until like say Sunday night, Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be fine.
Cool.
Just so the players know that will include the Spindleskog runestones and the Ulfheim runestones. Currently, you can't trade them in to NPCs in a conversation, but that'll be fixed.
Okay.
And the ferry.
And the ferry?
Taking the boat between the center aisle and the tail aisle.
Yeah. So if you can get to Tangamire directly, then that's the way to go to Tangamire or somewhere on that far shore. But otherwise, it's that boat is temporarily out of order. Sorry,
and
my fault.
Currently, the loading screen for Isle of Light, is that correct?
Isle of Light's a new pot.
Yeah, that loading screen is blurry. I've already fixed that as well, so that'll be in the next patch as well. It's just it was
That was my fault, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I already know what the problem is.
Yeah, exactly. It was just set to the default size. That's all. No big
Yeah,
deal.
yep.
So guys, don't fret about that. That'll be fixed. The fix is already done, and it'll be in the next patch. And then of course the the variant names that we talked about today, I'll be looking into those and getting those into the next patch as well, to get those fixed. So now knowing it's only in one situation, we know where to go look and fix that. So with all that said, I expect that the patch will be Sunday night into Monday. So like a Monday morning type of small client patch, unless something critical comes up over the weekend, and I'll do the build sooner if that occurs. So basically on Monday, that'll also be when whenever this patch happens, which we expect it to be Monday, will be when the deed upgrade sale is also turned off at that point. So that has to be done in a patch. So, okay. With all that said, let's go find somebody to raid. I knew I forgot something.
Nice.
Gotta do that.
Oh, did you kill your elf? I wasn't watching.
I don't know. It's like I think he wandered. Well, oh no, I did. How about that? Yeah. Which actually brings up something I really probably should mention. We just had another little small wave of botters and the such that we have banned. So just keep in mind, guys, if you want to take the risk and go out there and do macroing or botting, then you're gonna end up getting caught.
Gonna get busted.
So, we have a very strict policy on this. We give you a suspension for 7 days on the first, conviction, as it were, and then if you're a repeat offender, you get a permaban. And if you're permaban, then you're not going to be able to come back in. Not even creating a new account is going to help you. So please don't bot. Save an NPC. Don't bot. All right. So where am I going? Oh yes, I need to find this.
While you're looking, I'll mention we talked about Vikland a lot. To get to Vikland, it's in the episode 2 area that you can get to from any of the galleons, like by Arteris, Central Brittany. You take the galleon across the other continent, and then from there, once you're in the new area, the new Mr. Ender area for episode 2. I say new; it's not really new anymore. I guess it's 3 islands. It's on the center of those islands. I think basically just sort of go once you get on that island, just go west, just follow the shore. Eventually, you'll get to Vikland. It's in the southern half of that island. Find your target?
Yes, I did. And
Your
we
victim?
are raiding Coswald.
Coswald, nice.
So there you go. You should be in good shape there. Okay, with all that said, thanks everybody for hanging out, especially in this extended long stream, which was supposed to be a short stream. And we'll see you next time around. If things go well, as I said, middle of November. So we'll be streaming on the 18th of November. That's my birthday. Yay!
Yay!
So, all right. Have a nice night, guys. Talk to you later.
Good night, everyone. Thanks.
Bye. Okay, raid.